Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What is it? What is it? Where? Where is it? What is it? What is it? Where is it? What? What? Alright class, settle down and let me tell you a story. Halloween is upon us, so might as well get into the spirit of the season with a few games and lore. Before we start, did you know that we do this live on Twitch every Sunday and Wednesday at 8 PM EST? Would love for you guys to join me. It's a bit lonely out there. Also, would appreciate it if you do the whole like, share, subscribe, and notification thing. It would really help me out to keep this thing going. Anyways, for tonight, we have H.P. Lovecraft's Dagon, a game based on one of his most popular short stories. And here we go. Let's see what happens. Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here. The movement is limited to processing through locations along with the plot. So, we're basically going to be, this is the video game version of reading through a story. Okay.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
It shall be no more. Okay. He shall be no more. So, he's aware of his impending death. Can we move? How do we move? Oh, okay. During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story. I'm gonna read the story after this one. Its historical background and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find the secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. Are these the Elder Signs? This thingy here? Okay. We've got a syringe.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable.
Okay.
I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Don't do it, man. So he's a drug addict, and it seems like he's using drugs to escape from his trauma. Alright, can we move now? Oh, there's our desk. But our movement's limited. Okay.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
So, just like Sherlock Holmes, he's a functioning addict.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Alright. What's this? Is it an Elder Sign?
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Oh, okay, so First World War or Second? Alright, someone's shooting at somebody.
The Great War was then at its very
okay,
beginning,
First World War
and
then.
the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation.
Wait, I'm with the Kaiser's boat. That's the Kaiser's flag.
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
So he's now a prisoner. What's that? Okay, this is the flag. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion. Of course, we all know because you know what European powers called the Germans the Huns. Brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who developed powerful composite bows. Blah 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 blah. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th July 1900 before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited just as 1,000 years ago the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves, and that even today makes that seem a mighty history. In such a way, China, that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at the German. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Convention of 1899. Okay, so that's how they ended up being called the Huns. Because Wilhelm himself made a reference to it. Or go back to them later displaying trivia. This can be changed. Show trivia upon finding them. Okay, no problem. What's this? Radar?
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Like, how long? Okay. Should we go in? Okay, my provisions. Alright, we're in.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Head north, head east. Where's the Northern Star? Where is it? Can you navigate using the stars?
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Okay.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Alright, we're definitely in trouble. Nothing. You've got provisions, right? Alright. Head towards the sun, head north.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Yep, we're definitely in trouble. Should we keep going? How's our provisions? Nothing. Okay.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Great.
The change happened whilst I slept.
What change?
Its details I shall never know,
What happened?
for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Alright. Oh, crap. Alright, this is definitely one of Lovecraft's.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Okay.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Okay.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Where are we? I mean, that's our life raft.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
Fear of what?
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
He could be hallucinating. He's been drifting for days. But where are we?
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, A portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
That's possible.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
Huh.
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Eat squid. Fish?
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Alright, it's getting hot. We can't be here.
As the day progressed, the ground
This place is
lost
gonna
some
boil.
of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Did it?
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Ah. Right, let's go. Jesus Christ, what is this place?
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Interesting.
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
See, this is a lot of people want to live beside the beach, but what people forget is the smell. If not for fish, the smell of salt sea air, which is, some people said it's healthy for you, but it's not. Is it something that you like? Is it something that you'd actually grow accustomed to? I'm not sure. Especially if you live near a fishing village or something. Smell of fish.
All day
Oh,
I forged
crap.
steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
So, search for high ground, I guess? What are these things? Still nothing. Still looking. It's a whale. I don't know what these are. You have to be careful.
That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
The hummock? Still nothing. No more elder signs. Nope, nothing.
By the fourth evening,
Alright, it's
I
been 4
attained
days.
the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
I doubt there'd be people
Too
here.
weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
What else are we gonna do?
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
How wild? Did it involve crazy naked chicks?
But
No.
ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain,
The gibbous moon?
I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Yeah,
Such visions as I had experienced
was wondering how he
were
fell
too
asleep
much for
peacefully
me
in the
to
first
endure
place.
again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Why?
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Okay. Did you guys know that one of the leading causes of death in the desert is
Indeed,
drowning?
I now
I have to
felt
check
quite
that out,
able
but
to
I heard it from
perform the
from a
ascent which had
podcast or
deterred me
something.
at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
But that doesn't make any sense because you guys, here's the thing, right? What most people forget when you're hanging out in the countryside, when you're in a mountain, when you're in a, I'm not sure if I've never been to I've never been caught nighttime in a desert. But here's the thing, right? If you're outside the city, it's going to be real dark. As in pitch black. That's why the term at first light came to be, because it's really dark out there. If you're outside the city, it's really dark. You will not be able to move properly. Right, here we go. Oh, my food pack.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me.
Okay.
But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
Okay, so it's so deep and it's so dark that the moon can't...
I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Okay.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
Right.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
So what does that mean? We can climb down?
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Why?
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Why would we go down then? I mean, what's the point? Didn't we have just like waited
Urged on
for
by an
daylight?
impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
I still can't see shit. So what would be the point?
Gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Okay. What do we do with it? Huh. Are we getting
That
closer?
it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Yeah, but look at the way it's made, my man.
But I was conscious of a distinct
90
impression
degree,
that
a
its
perfect
contour
90
and
degrees.
position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me
need
with
sharp
sensations
edges.
I cannot express.
Perfect 90-degree angles. Nothing.
For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young,
Okay. Is it ancient aliens?
I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
Okay.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
It's dark. It's dark, my man. There's nothing here.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm,
Is this fresh or salt water?
and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith,
Cyclopean monolith.
on whose
Interesting.
surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Alright. Faces, head, and something. Wonder what it is.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics
Okay.
unknown to me, and unlike anything
look.
I'd ever seen in books.
Hammerhead shark, whale, regular shark, turtle, conch shell, an octopus. A Cthulhu? Is this Cthulhu?
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
No. Okay.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world,
Great.
but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
What next?
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Yep, it's Cthulhu. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the most of carvings, the nameless cities, the Mountain of Madness, Cthulhu mythos. Some of the Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. It's one of his short stories anyway.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
What's a doré?
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men. Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail.
You can't speak in detail. How exactly are you supposed to describe it?
For the mere remembrance makes me grow faint.
I mean, no wonder our dudes turn to drugs.
Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Huh. So there's a Edgar Allan
They
Poe
were
reference.
damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
Ooh.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't understand how big these creatures actually are.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size. But in a moment
But who
decided
carved
that they
these
were
things?
merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Primitive doesn't mean stupid. Primitive doesn't mean dumb.
Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born. Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist,
Nice.
I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What is it? What is it? Where? Where is it? What is it? What is it? Where is it? What? What?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid
Oh,
into
okay.
view above the dark waters.
Ah!
Polyphemus-like and loathsome.
Should we run?
It darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the
Calm
mind.
down. Calm down, my man. Calm down. Okay, let's not. No sudden movements now. No sudden.
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Okay, let's all just calm down. Deep breaths.
I think I went mad then.
Oh. Okay.
My frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Okay. But how did we get back to civilization? I mean, by the
I
size.
believe I sang a great deal, and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
I mean, that thing was large enough that it could have hunted us down, but it didn't for some reason.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Okay.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
What now? What now? What now?
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital,
How did we get there?
brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
What?
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing.
Where did I go
Nor
then?
did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Okay. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. So, guys, this is what I was talking about, right? Lovecraft wasn't a very good person, but he also took criticism to heart, stepped away from writing Dagon short stories. Anyways, you can love him or hate him personally, but I think he does good work. So it's a matter, I guess, it's a matter of perspective for the person if you know what his personal stuff can be forgiven for writing these kind of things. Okay. Hello? Hello? Where are we going
Once
now?
I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon,
The fish god. The fish god. So Dagon is the fish god. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, look. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in the Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name. As in Hebrew, the word of Dag means fish. In Lovecraft's work, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that reside in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. But what do they get for worshipping such a being? Should we go? Are we going to encounter this cult?
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Okay. Now what? Oh, there we go. The marketer attempts to find a job in the 19 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Freelancing for a marketing magazine, he would rate announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. Oh, it's okay. Structural units. Oh my god, they actually put one of his copies here. That's so cute. Okay. But now what? Oh, can we move now? I want to see. Is this H.P. Lovecraft's office or something? Huh. Okay. These days, the word scientist is widely accepted as a term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to a wide debate. After the author used in the story, critics pointed out that man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. He admitted in defense of Dagon that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed use the phrase they suggested. Oh, so he was malleable as an author. He actually, accepted criticism, or he accepted, corrections, which is good, I guess. To be used when referring to those studying different branches of science in 19th and early scientific in Great Britain were on the opinion that man of science resembling the term man of letters was the only proper choice among these things. It was gender specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, and man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. Okay. Ooh, there we go. What happens now?
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Is it here in the room with us?
I tried morphine, but the drug
Not
has
strong
given
enough,
only
a man.
transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Okay, so he fell as an addict.
So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Don't do it, man. Not the answer. Okay.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
Is it not?
A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war.
It could have definitely been a possibility. It was a very traumatic event. Being captured, escaping, and drifting into sea.
I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed.
I'm definitely reading it after this one.
Worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind.
Nope.
Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Oh, so this was the vision. No.
The end is near.
Is it here? Is it here?
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Where's our weapon?
It shall not find me.
Come on! At least die fighting!
That hand!
Die fighting, man! Die fighting! Grab something!
The window!
I can't move it to the window! Die fighting, no! Huh. Well, that was definitely interesting. Thank you for watching, guys. Now you all know the drill. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button. It would help me out immensely with the YouTube algo. Now, if you guys want me to play other games and if I can afford it, please let me know in the comments. We upload on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we go live on Twitch at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Sunday, also Eastern Standard. Please check it out. Class dismissed.